Hi, and welcome to Modern English Proficiency Level Class number 2. Today we're going to be talking about weddings, okay? So I want everybody to do the warm-up with me. Repeat after me. Linda Lou Lambert loves lemon lollipop lip gloss. Good. Linda Lou Lambert loves lemon lollipop lip gloss. Okay, so a few things. First of all, Linda Lou Lambert. This would just be a name, okay? Somebody's name. Linda Lou Lambert. She loves lemon lollipop lip gloss. Okay, first of all, lip gloss. What is lip gloss? It's almost like a makeup, okay? Everybody knows lipstick, right? Put lipstick on. Lip gloss is like lipstick, but it's clear, okay? You usually put that on if your lips are too dry. No color, usually. That's lip gloss, okay? And lemon lollipop. First of all, a lemon is a fruit, a very sour type of fruit, okay? A lemon, about this big, yellow kind of fruit, okay? Think about, bite into this kind of fruit and, oh, very sour. The taste is sour. That's a lemon, okay? So some types of things are flavored like a lemon. A type of candy can be lemon flavored. And in this case, a lollipop is a type of candy. A lollipop. In America, usually known as a sucker, all right? It's a type of candy, usually round, and it's on a stick, okay? So when you're eating it, like that, all right? So in America, we usually call this a sucker. Lollipop is also okay. So let's do the whole thing again. Linda Lou Lambert loves lemon lollipop lip gloss, all right? So this girl likes lip gloss that tastes like lemon lollipops. All right, good. All right, now that we've completed the warm-up, we're going to have a short quiz about what we've learned during the warm-up. First question, what is a lemon? Okay, question number 2, what is lip gloss? Question 3, what is a lollipop? Okay, let's move on to the interesting idioms. The first one, you may kiss the bride. Good, you may kiss the bride. This is usually said at the end of the wedding ceremony. After the groom has put the ring on the bride's finger, the groom can lift the veil off the bride's face. The veil is something that hangs down to cover her face during the wedding ceremony. Usually white colored. You can see through it, but you can't see her face very clearly. So at the end of the ceremony, the groom can take the veil off her face and kiss the bride. So usually that's the end of every wedding ceremony. You may kiss the bride. Okay? Number 2. Who is the maid of honor? Who is the maid of honor? Okay, now a maid of honor. In a wedding ceremony, there's two most important people. There's the bride and there's the groom. But there are also people in a Western ceremony that stand in front of the wedding ceremony with the bride and groom. The bride has a maid of honor. That's probably her best friend or somebody like that will stand next to her during the wedding ceremony. A groom will have what's known as the best man stand next to him. That's probably his brother or maybe his best friend, okay? And a best man just has to take care of the groom on the wedding, same as the maid of honor has to take care of. A best man also has a very important job, okay? Anyway, that's a maid of honor. You can also have a matron of honor. A matron of honor would be a married woman, so perhaps your best friend is married already. She could be your matron of honor. Who is the matron of honor? Okay, good. Next one. The groom shouldn't see the bride before the wedding. Okay, now this is American tradition. It probably comes from England as well. But this is what's known as superstition. It's bad luck if the groom sees the bride before the wedding. When she's wearing her wedding dress, if the groom sees her before the wedding, it's said that they will have a bad marriage. It's bad luck. Okay? So one more time. The groom shouldn't see the bride before the wedding. Good. Okay, next one. Repeat after me. Something old, something new, something borrowed, something blue. Okay, this is another case of wedding superstition. There's a lot of things that you do and don't do for a wedding, and this is another thing that the bride should do. The bride is supposed to wear one of each of these things. She should wear something old, she should wear something new, she should wear something borrowed, and she should wear something blue. So, what does this mean? Something old. Maybe she should wear some old stockings, something like that. Okay, it doesn't matter. Perhaps a garter, okay? This is a good example. A garter is something that the bride will wear on her leg. I don't know, you'll probably have to get the Chinese translation for this because I can't show you my leg right now. But a garter, just a round piece of cloth, okay? It goes on the leg. That could be maybe old, maybe it's from somebody else. Now, something new, of course, usually the wedding dress would be new. Okay, you buy a new wedding dress, that's new. Or you could wear the old one, that could be the old part too. It doesn't matter. But you have to wear something old and you have to wear something new. Now, something borrowed. Everybody, you should know by now, proficiency level. If you borrow something, you take something from somebody and you give it back later. So maybe you borrow a ring from your mother and just wear it on the wedding day. Or you borrow some special hairpin or something like that. You should borrow one thing and wear it just for the wedding ceremony. And finally, something blue. Now, blue. You usually think a bride should wear white, right? Well, something blue. Maybe blue nail polish? I don't know. Maybe blue underwear. Who knows? But anyway, you should wear something blue on your body. So it's good luck. If you can do all four of these things, you have good luck after your wedding day. My father will give me away. My father will give me away. All right, another important thing you need to do on a wedding ceremony. When the bride walks up the aisle, okay? In a church, we have an aisle. The place where you walk between the seats is called the aisle, okay? The bride will walk up there, dum, dum, da, dum, and usually her father walks with her, okay? This is called giving the bride away. This is from old times. The father of the bride gives the bride to the other family, okay? So he walks up to the front of the church with the bride and gives the bride away. Just like that, okay? All right, next one. It was a formal ceremony. Good. It was a formal ceremony. All right, you guys should know what formal means by now. We have formal and informal. A formal ceremony would be traditional, okay? Just looks like the weddings you probably see in movies. Bride and groom standing up in front, bridesmaids, groomsmen, everything in a church like that. That's a formal ceremony. An informal ceremony, well, you've all heard of people getting married in Las Vegas, right? An informal ceremony, maybe you just go to Vegas. You get married one night while you're drunk or something like that. I don't know. That would be informal. Okay, and finally, last sentence. We got married by Elvis in Vegas. We got married by Elvis in Vegas. Okay, what does this mean? Well, just like I told you before, formal or informal wedding, this would be a good example of a very informal wedding. Okay? Like I said, you could go to Las Vegas. Now, this is a place where you can get a very quick wedding. If you meet somebody in Las Vegas, you can meet them and get married in the same day. You can quickly do that. But you can also go to places that are called theme chapels. A chapel is just a small church, okay? If you go to a theme chapel, you can go somewhere where they'll have people that impersonate other people. Now, if you know who Elvis is, Elvis Presley, the king of rock and roll, very popular in America, also very popular in Las Vegas. There's a lot of different shows in Las Vegas that have Elvis impersonators. An impersonator is somebody that's dressed up to look like somebody else. Okay? Alright, now it's time for the quiz. First question. In a wedding ceremony in the West, who is the maid of honor? Okay, question number 2. What do I mean by a formal wedding ceremony? A formal wedding ceremony. Okay, next question. Who is Elvis Presley?
This is a beautiful wedding. The bride and groom really look wonderful together.
They sure make a nice couple, don't they? My sister's wedding gown is so beautiful.
Congratulations on your wedding. Your bride is really beautiful.
Thank you. She is lovely, isn't she?
It really was a wonderful ceremony.
Thanks, Kelly. I'm looking forward to yours, too.
Wow, the wedding cake really looks delicious.
Samantha and Paul did a superb job organizing everything. Oh, here they come. Guess you're next, Kelly.
Okay, now let's do the 10 sentences. Sentence number 1. This is a beautiful wedding. Good. Now a little faster. This is a beautiful wedding. Right, now this is something a wedding guest would probably say to the bride or to the groom or perhaps to their family during the wedding ceremony. This is a beautiful wedding. Yeah, okay. It's just a compliment you give to somebody that's involved in the wedding ceremony. This is a beautiful wedding. Or you could tell your friend sitting next to you about it. It doesn't matter. But it's beautiful. That just means it's everything's perfect, okay? Number 2, congratulations on your wedding. Good. A little faster. Congratulations on your wedding. Okay, now this is something you'd say to the bride or the groom. You wouldn't say it to somebody else in the church. Maybe you could say congratulations on your wedding 50 years ago. I don't know. But this is something you say to the bride or the groom after the wedding ceremony. This is, in China, the same thing. Everybody walking around, gongxi, gongxi, gongxi. Same thing, right? Congratulations. Good. Number 2, your bride is really beautiful. Good. A little faster. Your bride is really beautiful. Okay, good. Now this is something you would say to the groom during the wedding ceremony. I mean, this is something you should say to the groom during a wedding ceremony. Even if the bride looks like a monkey, you should still say this to the groom because it's a nice thing to say. So, your bride is really beautiful. Good. Number 4, thank you for inviting me to your wedding. Good. A little faster. Thank you for inviting me to your wedding. Now this is something you'd say to the bride or the groom after the wedding is over, or perhaps when you first get to the wedding. But just usually in a Western ceremony, the bride and groom, after the ceremony, they stand outside, they talk to people, they shake hands, okay? This is something you could say to them during that time. Thank you for inviting me to your wedding. They invited you, they asked you to come. Number 5, that was a beautiful toast at the reception. Good, a little faster. That was a beautiful toast at the reception. Okay, so a toast. What is a toast? In China, everybody knows what a toast is. You're sitting at the table, you're eating. Stand up and blah, 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 ganbei, okay? Same thing in English. You're sitting at the table and somebody will... Actually, in Western culture, during a wedding at least, most people will have champagne at the reception. The reception is the party after the wedding. Everybody sits around, eats cake, eats some dinner. So, during the reception, everybody drinks champagne. If you want to give a toast during this time, you stand up with your champagne glass and you say, I would like to give a toast to the bride and the groom. They've known each other since they were 3 years old, and now they're finally married. Okay? That's a toast. Just like congratulations, stand up, and everybody drink a little bit. That's a toast. Okay? Good. The bride and the groom wrote their own vows. It was so beautiful, I had tears in my eyes. All right, so vows, wedding vows. The whole purpose of a wedding is a man and a woman get together and promise that they're going to stay together, stay in a relationship. So they vow, they promise. A vow is a promise. So they get together and they promise to stay with each other forever and ever and ever, till death do them part, right? So, vows can be, you can do formal vows. There are formal vows that are written down. It's a ceremony you can follow. Just read 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. Or you can write your own vows. Jenny, you're so beautiful. I've loved you my entire life. Steve, you're so beautiful too. I've loved you even longer. You can write anything you want to write, okay? Write your own vows, just what you say back and forth. The most important part is just at the end of the ceremony, you should say, I do. I do take this woman to be my wife. I do take this man to be my husband. But anything before that part, you can write your own vows. You can write your own script, basically. Okay? And I had tears in my eyes. If something is so beautiful you have tears in your eyes, usually when you have tears in your eyes, it's because something is sad. You want to cry. But sometimes you can have tears in your eyes because something is so beautiful. But usually this just means it's so beautiful. A lot of people cry at weddings. I mean, I've been to several weddings, and there are people that every ceremony start crying. But it's not because they're sad. It's just because it's beautiful, because there's a lot of emotion involved. It's a very, very big event when two people tie the knot, when they get married, when they connect to each other forever. It's a very, very powerful thing. So some people have tears in their eyes. Okay? Number 7. The wedding cake looks really delicious. Okay, good. A little faster. The wedding cake looks really delicious. All right, well, you could say this when you're at the reception and you're looking over there at the wedding cake. Maybe they haven't cut the cake yet, but delicious. You should know delicious by now. Delicious. Something tastes very good. So if the wedding cake looks delicious, I want to eat it. I want to eat that wedding cake. Okay? So the wedding cake looks really delicious. Okay, number 8. The bride's wedding gown is so beautiful. Good. A little faster. The bride's wedding gown is so beautiful. All right, first of all, a wedding gown. The word gown, we use this to describe a very formal, beautiful dress, okay? That's a gown, a wedding gown. So, the wedding gown is so beautiful. This is something nice to say to somebody sitting next to you. The bride's wedding gown is so beautiful. It has a strange sound to me. Maybe the bride is so ugly, but her gown is so beautiful? I don't know. But usually the bride wears a beautiful white gown. Now, in China, I know traditionally, the gown is red, I believe. The wedding gown is red. But I think now, more and more, Chinese women want to have a white dress too, perhaps for the ceremony, and then change into another dress for the reception. Anyway, in Western countries, the bride's dress is usually white, and the dress, very formal dress, is called a gown. Number 9, who is the best man? Okay, who's the best man? Now, best man. The best man is the person in the wedding, just like the bride has bridesmaids and also the maid of honor. The groom has a best man. The best man is the guy that stands up there with him during the whole ceremony. Now, the best man can be his brother, it can be his good friend, or something like that. But the best man has several responsibilities during the wedding ceremony. The first thing the best man has to do is take care of the rings. He has to hold the ring for the bride and the groom during the ceremony, or before the ceremony, and give it to them at the right time. Also, the best man is usually in charge of giving the groom a bachelor's party. Now, a bachelor's party, this concept is, I believe, a Western concept, but we think that before a wedding, every groom, because it's the last night where he's still going to be a bachelor, an unmarried man, he has to go out and get incredibly drunk, and usually the evening will end in a strip club, which is a place where naked women are dancing around. It's something about alcohol and a big group of men, but usually when they're all drunk during a bachelor party, it ends up at a strip club. Anyway, that's just called a bachelor party, okay? Just one last night of being stupid and crazy before you get married. If you get married, that's the last naked woman you're going to see in your lifetime, so you better go see a bunch of them on the night before your wedding. There's also a tradition to have a bachelorette party now. And this is where the bride will go out the night before the wedding, or a few nights before the wedding, and party with her friends. Almost the same thing. I've never been on one of these, so I can't tell you how it ends up, but I suspect it probably also ends up in a strip bar of some kind. Okay, so that's bachelor party and bachelorette party. Anyway, so that's one of the best man's responsibilities, is to give the groom a bachelor party. Also, he has to take care of the rings. He has to make sure he doesn't lose the rings on the night before the wedding. If he loses the rings, the wedding is pretty much over. You have to have rings as a symbol of tying the knot between two people. Okay? Number 10. The bride's father took a lot of pictures of the wedding and put them on their wedding website. Okay, one more time. The bride's father took a lot of pictures of the wedding and put them on their wedding website. Okay, a wedding website. What is a wedding website? Well, A website is an internet site on the World Wide Web, right? So apparently the bride's father took lots of pictures during the wedding and put them on his website. Okay, now we're going to do the review. So we're going to try and use some of these sentences in different ways. We're going to try and use the sentence structure to say different things. Okay? So our first sentence was, this is a beautiful wedding. This is a beautiful wedding. You can use this for anything. This is a beautiful ring. Actually, it's a very cheap ring. Probably not that beautiful, but I like it. But this is a beautiful something, okay? This is a beautiful day, right? You go outside and it's a sunny day. This is a beautiful day. This is a beautiful something. Something looks so nice, okay? So, this is a beautiful wedding. All right. Second one I want to go over is sentence number 2. Congratulations on your wedding. Congratulations. Now, you can use this for anything. Congratulations on your new car. Congratulations on your new baby. Congratulations on passing the test. Congratulations on anything. Congratulations from surviving the long illness you had. It doesn't matter. Congratulations, just good job. You did something well. Congratulations. Okay? Next one. Let's look at sentence number 4. Thank you for inviting me to your wedding. Now you could use this in a number of ways. Thank you for inviting me. Thank you for telling me to come here. Thank you for inviting me to your home for dinner tonight. Thank you for inviting me to your party. Inviting me, just calling me out, telling me to come. For a wedding, it's usually a formal invitation. Somebody will send you a letter in the mail, and it will say, so-and-so are getting married on this date. Can you come? That's a formal invitation. Then you should send back and say, yes, I will be there. No, I won't be there. Invitation can also be informal. You could just call somebody on the phone. Do you want to come over to my house tomorrow for dinner? Also an invitation. Okay? So you could use this in a number of ways. Thank you for inviting me to your wedding. Thank you for inviting me to your house. Thank you for inviting me anywhere. Okay? Good. Okay, now it's time for our quiz. Question number 1. What is a toast? Question number 2. What is a wedding reception? Question number 3. What is a wedding gown? What is a gown? Okay guys, now it's time for a little humor. So today's joke is another blonde joke. There's a lot of jokes, like categories of jokes in the United States. This is a blonde joke, right? We always make fun of blonde people, people with blonde colored hair, because we say that they're not as smart as other people. But it's just a type of joke, a blonde joke. So anyway, a blonde walks into an appliance store and she says to the salesperson, I'd like to buy this TV set. Because it's on sale, right? I'd like to buy this TV set. The worker, the guy working at the store says, you know what? We don't sell to blondes. So she's kind of taken aback. She can't believe it. So she quickly goes home, she dyes her hair black, and comes back into the appliance store. And she goes up to the salesman and she says, I'd like to buy this TV set. The guy says, I'm sorry, we don't sell to blondes. Okay, so she's really taken aback. She says, how's the guy know me? So whatever, she goes home. She waits maybe 4 days. She buys a curly black wig, a lot of curly hair, and some sunglasses, and puts them on. Waits maybe 3 days, finally comes back to the store, comes up to the salesman again and says, I'd like to buy this TV set. The guy says, I've already explained to you, we don't sell to blondes. Now she's so confused, she can't believe it. She thinks, I've got this wig on, I've got the sunglasses, how does he know I'm blonde? So she finally has to ask the question. She says, look, I've got a perfect disguise. How do you know I'm a blonde? And the salesman says, because that's a microwave. Okay, well, I'd just like to take a few moments to talk about what the structure of a Western wedding usually looks like. So, in a Western wedding, we usually have 2 distinct parts. There's the wedding ceremony, which is usually very religious in a church, okay? And there's also the reception, which is after that, which is like a big party. Now, during the ceremony, we do the whole thing like you've seen in the movies, okay? The bride and the groom will walk down the aisle at the beginning of the ceremony. They stand in front of the church. They have the bridesmaids, and the groomsmen, and the best man and the maid of honor stand up in front, okay? They exchange vows. They make the promise. They say, do you take this person to be your lawfully wedded husband or wife? I do, I do. All that kind of stuff. That's the big formal part. That's the big formal ceremony, okay? Usually conducted by a minister or a priest who will marry you, will stand up in front of you. But we also have the legal part. Like in China, you have to go somewhere to some office and you have to sign some piece of paper. You have to prove that you've never been married before or that you've already been divorced or something like that. This is the legal part of it. And this is usually done before the wedding in Western countries. You have to go in front of a judge or something like that and sign a piece of paper also. That's the legal part of the wedding. The other part of the wedding is more of the ceremony, the formal ceremony. When you go through, do you take this person to be your wife and all that stuff. Okay, anyway, that's a ceremony. After that's done with, you put the ring on, you kiss the bride, and everybody claps and you're happy and you walk down the aisle again and people start throwing rice at you as you walk out the door into your limousine or into your car. Now rice, why would you throw rice at a person? The way it's been explained to me is this is some kind of symbol of fertility or something like that. It means that the bride and the groom will make lots of children in the future. Rice, it grows something. But in Western countries now, this used to be a tradition. I can remember when I was younger, people would always throw rice at people at the bride and groom as they're leaving the wedding ceremony. Now, this doesn't happen anymore, and the reason is because the way it was explained to me is birds will often pick up this rice that's laying on the ground and eat it. And you know what happens to rice when you put it in water? It starts to swell. It starts to get bigger. Well, a bird will eat so much rice that as the rice starts to smell, it can kill itself. It can pop the stomach. This is what I've heard. Nowadays, we usually throw something like birdseed at the bride and groom because that's something that the bird can eat and it'll be happy. It won't kill itself. Anyway, the bride and groom get into a car, they rush off, and then we usually go to some sort of a hotel or something like that. Somewhere where there's a big reception room, somewhere where there's a big place to have lots of people, where we have the big reception party. And this is where we cut the cake. This is where we eat like a formal dinner. This is where everybody stands up and makes the toast. I hope you have a happy life and all that stuff. We drink champagne or something similar, drink wine or beer, I don't know. It doesn't matter. It's different from wedding to wedding, but everybody drink a little bit, eat a little bit, and cut the wedding cake. And there is one more ceremony I'd like to talk about. Maybe you've seen this before, but it's the cutting of the cake. This happens in almost every wedding I've ever been to. The bride and the groom have to cut the cake together, and then they have to feed each other a piece of the wedding cake. And what happens is, they take a fork, or they take their hands and they slowly give you a little bit of cake, and then the other person will give the other person a little bit of cake. It's a tradition, finally. Usually the bride will take a little cake and shove it up the groom's nose, or push it in the groom's face, and then the groom will throw some cake at the bride. I've seen it get very violent. This tradition, it's an old tradition, and I've seen it in almost every wedding I've gone to. But it's just for fun. The bride likes to stick a little cake in the groom's face, and the groom sticks a little in the bride's face. But after that, we have more toasts. There's another ceremony when people start hitting, maybe you've seen this in a movie or something like that. Somebody will start hitting their spoon or their fork on the glass, ting, 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 like that. Then the groom and the bride have to stand up and kiss each other. Really annoying. I'm glad I'm getting married in China, so I don't have to go through that. But anyway, that's what a Western wedding looks like. And you guys can talk about, later when we get to the activities, we're going to talk about the differences between a Western wedding and a Chinese wedding. This one is, it cracks me up. Okay, one more time. It cracks me up. Alright, so when would you say it cracks me up? You'd say it cracks me up if you heard something that was hilarious. Now this doesn't just mean it's funny. This means it's funny, but it makes you laugh. It makes you actually, that's crack up, right? Because we're talking about here, crack a smile. If somebody's like this, like that, you crack a smile. Your mouth makes a crack, right? Your mouth cracks open into a smile. So if something cracks you up, it makes you laugh a lot. Did you see that TV show yesterday? Yeah, it cracked me up. It made me laugh so much. Cracked you up. Okay? Alright, so let's say that one more time. It cracks me up. now we're going to do the role play. So what I need is everybody to get into groups, 1 or 2 people in a group. And I need you to answer these questions. First question, what are Chinese weddings like? Describe a Chinese wedding. Go from the beginning to the end. Tell me what a Chinese wedding looks like. The second question, what do you think Western weddings are like? Now I talked about this a little before, but you can also use what you've seen in movies or on television shows. Tell me what a Western wedding looks like. Compare the two. What's different in a Chinese wedding? What's different between a Chinese wedding and an American wedding or a Western wedding? Okay? Question number 3. How many of you are married? I want to know how many people in this class are married. Okay, so what I want you to do is get together and answer these questions in your groups, and then we're going to go around and find the answers from your groups. Okay, for this role play question, I want you to get into groups again, and I want the people who are married, the married people in the group, to tell the other group members what their wedding was like, what your wedding ceremony was like. And if you're not married, I want you to describe your dream wedding. What would your wedding look like? What will the ceremony look like? Do you want to have more of a Western wedding? Do you want to have more of a Chinese wedding? Do you want a traditional wedding? Do you want a non-traditional wedding? If you're going to be a bride, tell us what your dress will look like. Tell us everything about your wedding, what your dream wedding would be. Okay? So get together and discuss. Hi everybody, welcome to Modern English Proficiency Level. I'm going to be your teacher for these series of lessons, 1 through 36, and well, I'm just going to tell you a little bit about myself before we get going. My name is Jake Massey, alright? I'm from the United States of America. I was born in the state of Minnesota. I went to school for an English degree. I have a degree in English literature and a degree in communications. So pretty good degrees for English teaching. This is not exactly what I wanted to do.